perspective, higher level. This is the altitude shifted with the antes.
Good evening, everyone. I am Coach Sandra, and today I'm here interviewing Angela Lewis. Angela is going to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about what she does and what she has done. Angela?
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. My name is Angela Lewis. I am an author, a speaker, and a former professional basketball player. And I absolutely love working with young people and really helping them see how sport can transform their life.
All right, and Angela is my first cousin.
Yes, hey cousin.
So we invited her here to talk to us about some things regarding student athletes and when they're getting ready to make that transition to high school. So I have a few questions that I want to ask her, some clarifying questions for students and parents to make sure that student athletes are somewhat prepared for what's to come. So the first question I have for you, Angela, is what is the team culture actually like? Is it supportive or is it cutthroat?
So it really depends on the team. I think every coach goal is to create a team that is supportive and that's competitive. If you don't compete with each other if you don't compete with each other, then you're not making your teammates better. So you need to have that level of fire and fight in practice, but at the same time, you want to be able to support your teammates to do well.
And the coaches somehow help to bring that out, or teammates help to bring that out in each other?
Yes, there's two parts. There's what happens on the court and what happens off the court. On the court, you like to see your team be competitive. Your team has to be competitive. This is the only way I can help my teammates get better is if I compete hard. At the same time, off the court, we need to do things to really get to know each other, to form those bonds. And so you see a lot of players being really intentional about spending time with each other off the court in order to be even better and develop better chemistry on the court.
Okay, very good. How does the coach handle discipline, conflict, and playing time? Because oftentimes on TV we see, a lot of conflict. One person is being traded and it's all of a sudden and the team is scrambling. So how does that affect players? And the camaraderie and the brother or sisterhood of the game.
We live in a very different time now, especially with college athletics and the transfer portal. People leave and come and go all the time. And I think it's even more challenging for coaches to build that camaraderie. But to your point, discipline is key. Making sure that you have high standards and that players are held accountable when they're with you. But I have a lot of friends who are currently college coaches, and none of them really expect players to stay for 4 years anymore. It's very rare, very, very rare. What you see like a Raven Johnson, who's at South Carolina. It's rare that someone stays the entire time.
Okay. Does the coach treat athletes with respect while pushing them to succeed? Sometimes.
Yes, respect is key, especially now. I feel like in the past, everything was not recorded. Pictures weren't everywhere. So coaches are more conscious of what they're saying and what they do in the past than in the past. And so there's a fine line between how far you can push them because
sometimes
every
they
player,
push back.
Yes, and every player, the personalities are different. So it really varies, but respect is critical.
It's critical. Okay, is the coach honest? And do they keep their promises?
Some, it's hard coaching at the collegiate level. I think coaching, period, there's a lot of pressure. And so the coaches I know, aim for honesty and integrity. And that's always the goal.
Okay. Did you feel supported have you ever been injured?
No, I'm grateful.
Do you know athletes on your team?
A lot, yeah.
Do you know if they felt supported, or did you see a certain level of support, and what did that look like?
Support is a really it's a bit subjective because every player needs something different, right? Today, players have psychologists, like sports psychologists, often they're therapists who they're encouraged to go see on campus. So nowadays there's a lot of support. I feel like my teammates, we had trainers, but we didn't have as much mental health. Not we didn't have it. I'm sure there were therapists on campus, but it wasn't as promoted
Yes.
as it is now.
Okay. Well, kudos to you for not being injured. And
I'm
you
grateful.
played how many years?
Long time, very long
Okay.
time, decades. It was a
Okay.
blessing.
So let me ask a little bit about the daily life and time management, because that's the area that I think a lot of our young folks misunderstand and they just don't get it. So what does a typical day or daily schedule look like in season versus
Sure.
off season?
In season, we would practice at 6 a.m. and then you'd have class at 8 or 8:30, depending on your class schedule. Then, so you try to find something to eat in between. You know, you get up at 5, get to the gym, 5:30, 5:45, practice. After practice, then you would go to class. And depending on your schedule, you may have a film session in between, or you may go back to the gym and get more shots up. In the afternoon, you probably had a weightlifting session. And then there was homework, and then, you know,
Fun time, maybe.
sleep because you're so tired. At that
Yeah.
point, you're just tired.
Yeah.
You know, as a college athlete, you're in a constant state of like recovery and tired, but there's so much
That
much
just
fun.
sounds
Nothing
like
compared.
crisis to me. I just couldn't do it. But look, I'm a high school teacher, and so I work with a lot of freshmen, and I do a career project with them. And you'd be surprised to hear how many freshmen say, "Ooh, I want to be a professional basketball player. I want to be a
Really?
professional football player. I'm going pro." And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I don't. I'm not a Debbie Downer, and I
sure.
don't say you can't do that. But they don't think about work ethic
Yeah.
that some of these young men and women who make it to the pros have. They don't think about the time management of it all and how you need to, you know, schedule things, and some things you're not going to be able to do that
Yeah.
other students are doing. And so I just listen to them when they and smile when they say, "I want to be a pro, whatever." So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, very good. Thank you for your presentation."
Right.
So,
Oh, that's so sweet of you. That's so you
but I
learn.
can't discourage
No.
them. I'm a lifesaver, so
Yeah.
I
But they
can't.
learn quickly.
Yeah.
You learn quickly, like if you're up to par or not. You know, if you're a kid that never has played varsity and you're literally not working on your game, like you can,
Right.
people know when people are better than them. And if I look across and see all of these girls who are incredibly talented and they're getting offers and I'm not, there's a good sign that I'm not quite as good as them, whether I
Right.
want to admit it or not.
Whether you want to admit it or
Yeah.
not. Okay, how many hours do you truly spend on training, filming, and meetings? Hours. A lot? A lot.
There's a mandate. Was it like 20 hours a week or something was the max? So we have to track like all the hours. But that's when that's the mandatory stuff, right? So a lot of times we often talk about what are the things that you have to do with your team and your coach. But there's so much other time spent running through the plays, talking to your teammates
Yes.
about what happened. You go into your coach's office and you sit, and 2 hours later, you know, you've talked. But that has nothing to do with those things that are mandated. So
Right.
it really depends on like how deep in it you are, how much time you spend, because it's really unquantifiable. If you're constantly thinking about it and watching film and trying to get better,
Right.
you really can't like put a time stamp on it because it's in
Okay.
you.
Well, how difficult is it to balance training schedule with academic work? Because that's tricky.
There's always a trade-off. Today, in this academic landscape, it's a bit easier. I would say because you have online as an option. Coming up, online classes weren't didn't really exist for us.
Right.
And so now there's a bit more flexibility with asynchronous classes and the way coursework is designed. So it can be challenging, but there are, again, supports to ensure that you can do well.
And it's doable.
It is so doable. There are plenty that do it. It is doable. I will say one thing, though. I have a friend who didn't realize she was dyslexic until she went to college.
Oh, no.
And so if student athletes are struggling, my recommendation is get tested just to see if you have a learning challenge,
Right.
so that you can get support. So she was able to get supports and ultimately, did well and graduated, but she struggled and wasn't really sure why until she was able to find out.
Well, that's great news to know that she was able to get the support that she needed in
Yes.
time.
And her coaches were checking and was like, you're not doing well. Like, what's going on here? So
Okay. So how much class time did you
Mm-hmm.
miss during season?
the class time that I missed was often in the spring when we would travel for conference, our conference play. So January through March, every week I missed a class or two. I missed a day or two, pretty much. It was quite often. But today, with online, it's probably a bit easier in terms of.
And were you able to make it up? Or?
Good question. Was I able to make it up? I had to tell them in advance. So I couldn't miss 5 classes and then say, oh, I was traveling.
Right.
I knew ahead of time the schedules are set, so I would always tell them ahead of time. And I think our coaches even gave us like a letter or something to communicate, but it was our responsibility. So for those players who are in college, it's important to communicate with your professors.
Okay, do the players socialize together or are they isolated?
Do the players socialize with each other?
With each other.
Depends on how much they want to. You mean on a given team or
Yeah,
just
'cause
like
you're a team,
all athletes?
or do you just, do your own thing primarily? Because from what I've seen in high school, the students do kind of bond and stick together. So I don't know what it's like on the collegiate level.
I think with every team, there are some people you just vibe with more than others. Some people call it cliques. It could be, but other times I'm just closer to you because we have more in common.
Right.
So there are times when you are like super, super connected to your team. Other times basketball is a long season. You're with each other a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to, have other friends in other sports or other friends who aren't even connected to the game.
Right.
Both are valuable.
Right. Okay, we're getting there. So I'm going to ask you about recruiting and transition.
Sure.
All right. So is the program what you expected based on the recruiting process? Let's say when you were in high school and you were thinking about, oh my goodness, I want to play, pro ball, or I want to play ball in college.
Yeah.
I want to, go that route. Was the process what you thought it was going to be? Was it harder? Was it tricky? Was it, what was it?
Harder. Always harder.
Okay.
It's way, way, way harder
How
than
so?
physically.
Oh.
Physically, it was so much harder.
Demanding.
Oh my gosh! Because when you get recruited to play Division I sports, basketball in my case, you're one of the best, right? Definitely the best at your school.
Right.
But when you go to college as a freshman, you're not the best anymore. And you think you know how to work hard. You have no idea. I ran harder. I pushed myself further than I had ever thought was possible in high school. Because at that level, you're literally forced to. And it's incredible what can happen when you're pushed. Way harder.
Okay, so what is the reality of playing as a freshman in college? What's the reality? Because some of my students, like I said, they think they're going pro, and they haven't even played varsity, or they weren't like the best, or they weren't on what they call first string, or something like that. So
what's the reality of them being able to go in
as a freshman starting?
It's very rare, especially with the transfer portal now. College coaches, if you have players leave, you're looking for a player who can come right in and play, not necessarily someone who has to learn the system. So there's in some ways less opportunities for freshmen. So you have to be incredibly
Good.
coachable and very good and willing to work and do all the little things that may not be fun.
Okay. Now, did you feel prepared for the intensity of the sport?
No. Oh God, no. No, I was definitely not prepared. I wasn't prepared. I had no idea how hard it would be. I don't know how I could have prepared. The thing is, like, when
What about your high school coach?
no,
Like, they didn't tell you, like,
Abs-
oh my goodness, you're going to have to work twice as hard.
yes,
you know.
it's one thing when people tell you. It's another thing when you are running sprints
Oh.
and you have to push yourself to make the time, or you have to do it over and over and over again, or
Yeah.
your team has a bad game and you have to
Yeah.
get up in the morning. Nothing can prepare you. I'll put it like this. Preseason was hard, no matter how much I worked out in the summer. And I always worked out. And preseason is just always hard. And that's okay. It's part of it.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you wish you had known before you signed with the school that you signed with? What do you think what do you wish you knew?
What do I wish I
Prior
would have
to.
known prior to signing my scholarship?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's good. What do I wish I would have known?
That was hard. No.
Right. Well, and it's like, you know, it's hard. And even still, it's just going to be hard. There's no
Yes.
way around the hard. That's probably, yeah, maybe that's the part. You can't get around the hard. You can't wish it to be easier because it's not. And it's super competitive. And every year they're recruiting someone.
Better, bigger, nicer,
Yes.
stronger, faster.
Yep. So you have to constantly try to have an edge
Yes.
or give yourself an edge.
What kind of academic support do athletes
Mm-hmm.
receive?
Athletes receive a significant amount of academic support because
Whether they ask or not, or
Mm-hmm.
only if they ask?
the support is built in.
Okay.
So, for example, when I was a freshman, we had what we call study table or study hall.
Uh-huh.
And as a freshman, you had to have so many hours per week where you go in, and it's purely for athletes where there's tutoring or additional support. You had to literally sign in, check in that you did however many hours per week, and then coaches would check your grades. And if you did well enough, then you wouldn't have to do it anymore.
Okay.
So there's supports there.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about personal growth and advice. How did this experience shape you outside
Mm-hmm.
the sport?
How did playing college ball shape me outside, or basketball in general?
Yes.
It opened up the world. I mean, basketball for me, when I was growing up, we only traveled two places, Memphis, Tennessee, and Mount Bayou to visit y'all.
Hey, Mount Bayou.
Yes, only those two places. So, and that was typically.
You were a legend, and I used to hear about you all the time.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Really?
Yes. I heard about you. I was grown and working, so I didn't get a chance to see my little cousin play, but I did hear about you.
Thank you so much. I have most amazing family, like so much support. So much support.
Okay, so you said it opened up a whole new world.
Yeah, opened up the world. I mean, to live in Germany, I lived in Germany playing ball over there, and got to travel to Paris and Sweden and Finland. And I would have never. No one in my immediate family had a passport. The only people I knew in my family on either side that traveled abroad or lived abroad were in the military.
Oh,
So
okay.
it wasn't like a thing
Yeah, it's not a thing.
to just go.
So what was your hardest moment as a student athlete? Be honest.
Hardest moment was not playing well. Having a season where things were not clicking my junior year, it was hard because you're showing up, and I had to come off a really good season my sophomore year. So that was the hardest part, showing up every day, but then having games and second guessing myself and wondering if I'm good enough. That was hard.
Okay, thank you for that honesty. Did you have time for a social life or other interests? Did you pledge anything? Did you have boyfriends?
Oh Lord. Okay,
Or
so I didn't
jobs?
pledge. I didn't pledge. I didn't work. Other than I worked basketball camps in the summer, but during the season, during the school year, I definitely didn't work. There was someone I dated, my high school sweetheart. We dated like all through college. So, but basketball was my social life. I didn't. All we did was play basketball. We didn't do anything.
Okay.
Go to the gym.
What you
Like it
gonna
wasn't
do?
exciting. Yeah, it was just we just hooped and worked out. So
Okay, so
wasn't very
last
social.
question, cousin.
okay.
What is the best piece of advice you could give a high school athlete?
The best piece of advice that I can give a high school athlete that wants to play college
Yes,
sports is to
yes.
find a college athlete and ask them, find out what they do and do what they do.
So they need a mentor or just what? No? Not a mentor.
No, they have to work harder
work
than
ethic
ever. Yes,
again.
and working on the right things. So it's one thing, anyone can give advice and say, work on this, work on that, you should eat this, eat that. Find people who have been where you want to go and ask them what they did to get there. And ask more than one person, right?
Right.
Because ultimately, you're going to have to figure out the plan that works best for you. So I'll give you an example. I'm 6'1", right? If someone is 5'5", 5'3", and they say, I want to play NCAA Division I basketball, well, you can't do exactly what I did. We have different body types. It's going to be different.
Right.
So you need to find someone whose game you can mirror based on your attributes and work harder than everyone else.
Yes. All right, Angie. Well, thank you.
You're welcome,
for all
cousin.
this advice, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
coming
You're
on the
welcome.
show.
Thank you for having
but
me.
before we go, I want to announce that Angie, she did mention I'm an author. So I want to talk a little bit, I want her to talk about it, a little bit about her newly published book, A Ball and a Chance. Tell the listening public about that.
I am so excited about A Ball and a Chance. I wrote this book because I was asked to speak to a group of elementary school students at the Boys and Girls Club in St. Louis, Matthews Dickey, where I grew up playing. And I didn't have an elementary school book, so I decided to write one. So I wrote this with them in mind. There's a few themes in this book. One, you see the St. Louis Arch on the cover. Well, every illustration has a St. Louis Arch because I believe you take wherever you're from, wherever you go. The other thing is this book is about culture and connection and confidence. So these three little kids on the front are Colombian kids, Amaya, Luciana, and Paul. They're my friends' real kids. And this little girl, Destiny, who's the main character, takes a trip to another country and builds connections through sport that helps her realize that any court in the world feels like home.
Aw.
So that's what the short version of this book is about. And I'm so excited
Okay,
about it.
She gave me a copy already, so I can't wait to read it and share it with others. So get a copy. Is it on
Yes.
Amazon?
It is on Amazon and my website, AngelaRLewis.com.
So Angie and I have two things. Cousin Angie and I have a couple
Yes.
of, well, more than two things, but two things right now. She's starting her own podcast, so am I. And she's an author, so am I.
Yes, and was so inspired. I remember when I published my first book in 2012, and I was telling family members about it, and they were like, you know, your cousin wrote a book. The what? The Butterfly Within.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So thank you for setting the stage for,
Cousins.
yes, yes.
Well,
Because
thank
we all
you.
need someone
Yes.
to look to and someone to be a guide or to let us know that we're not crazy for wanting to do something.
Yeah,
that-
outside the box.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, cousin. Thank you so much.
you.
It was such a delight for you to be here, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready to rise, a new perspective, a higher level. This is the altitude shift with the antis.